This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, welcome to another Rob Paints. Well, this week I ended up getting Hellboy the board game, the Kickstarter backer edition, which was on sale at Miniature Market. So I decided to give it a look, and I got it sent in here, and it looks like a pretty good game. But I wanted to do a little painting before we go into the game too much. I wanted to get some of the figures painted up. So where better to start than old Hellboy himself, huh? So here we go. We got the two versions of Hellboy. We got them all painted up. So how do you do it? It seems simple enough. Well, it sure is. But there's a couple of ways that you can paint it. You can paint it to look how it looks on the art with the comic book, or you can bring your own version and try to tie it into the movie. What did I do? I went old school comic book. And how did I do it? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go down to the table and check it out. Now we got that Mephiston red, good, that's a good undercoat. I want to take care of this overcoat right now, and I'm going to go with a Steel Drab, Steel Legion Drab. I just think that'll look good on the coat, and of course if I don't like it I can always paint over it, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to pick up the fella here, and I didn't do his tail yet, and that's only because I knew I was going to hit it with this color, so I'd rather just come back over the top with it. And you see this is going in really nice. I got a little water here, so I'm thinning it out a bit, and what I want to do is I'm probably going to put two coats over it. So we're just going to go in there. Don't worry about hitting the Mephiston red, but you really want to try not to, okay? You don't want to cause yourself to just keep on repeating, going back and forth between colors. So just take your time, switch to a different brush if you have to, and you'll find that everything will come out just fine. And as you can see, we're just getting it on here nice and easy, and I'm not getting too close because I know that I really want to be careful around certain areas. So I may switch to a smaller brush just to make sure I get the detail. Sometimes just taking a little time and doing that really makes a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up his coat here, and then when we come back we're going to put a couple more base coats on, and then we're going to start highlighting both of these guys. There's a lot going on his shorts here, so that's really important because that's really going to help him stand out. So what we're going to do is we're going to work at that, and we will get it going. That's for doggone sure. So we'll be right back as I finish this up. Okay, the next thing that after we got this all on here is we want to start lead belchering all the areas that are going to be, well, gunmetal. So I'm going to be very careful going in here on both sides. This is all going to come down here. So I want to make sure his belt, we're going to lead belch here. We want to make sure that we get the chain that goes down to the cross. You got to remember that's a real important thing there. The middle belt here. And we want to make sure that we get this really, really good. We're going to leave the pants black because in all the pictures I see they're pretty much black, but we're going to lighten those up and bring those out a bit. So I'm going to finish all this up, and then we're going to come back once we're done, because we also got to do his belt as well, and they're both similar, so we should be able to knock these both out and get right to it. So I'll come right back once we get this all squared away, and we'll move on to our next color that we will have for our
Okay,
boy.
so what's next here?
Well, that's pretty easy. He has a gun belt here that we want to make sure that we get. We want to make sure that we get that really good, and we're just going to go over that real quick. As you can see, I'm just working over the top here, and then we've got his holster here, and then he has an actual belt here that comes down. So I want to add that brown right in there. So I'm trying to make sure I get this so the camera doesn't blur on us. So there we go. All right, so we're going to hit that, and I want to make sure that we touch that up all nice and nice. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to finish that, and I'm going to finish it on the other model, and then we'll come right back. Okay, now we're going to start working with our Abaddon Black and touch up anything that we feel that we might have missed or messed up on. And I got a couple of fingertips here that I just got to fix a little bit, because when I went to paint the gun, there we go. But right in here is where we want to do the little goatee that he has. And then we want to start working on his hair. Now, as you can see, it goes all the way back here, and he's basically got a balding problem. Well, don't we all, right? And we're just going to work it right in there. And we want to use Abaddon Black all the way around, and just get this up to his ear, and be careful. Come in the back here. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to show you what it looks like, basically, because all we're going to do is basically what you're seeing here, just coming around and getting that all nice and tight, so we can get ready to finally start doing some of our washes, which I would say we're just about ready to do. We've got one more color to put on, and then we'll be ready to start doing our washes and doing all our highlights on these guys. So I'm going to finish these guys up with the Abaddon Black, and we'll be right back. And now for one of the most important parts of here, because it always stands out in the comic book, and that is the cross right here. Now, all I want to do is just really get in there and make sure that we get it. There we go. And it's kind of hidden on this one because of some of the stuff here, but there we go. We get that in there, and that is a key component. All right, now we're about ready to start, well, basically darkening our guy up. So let's get right to it, huh? We're going to start getting some of these washes on. We're going to let that cross dry, and then we're going to start doing and highlighting. So we'll see you in a bit when we get now to before I start putting the washes on these guys. I cut him off this old base, and I have these fantastic micro art bases that you can get for a couple dollars at our friends at Miniature Market. I think they're like $4, $6, somewhere in there, and you can get all different types. So I picked out like this like urban piped all kinds of things and junk around, and I'm going to glue him on here and give him a new base, and I think it'll look a lot cooler. So that's what I'm going to go with. And let me get my hand out of here so it comes in focus, but you can see the base here, and I'm just going to glue him on right here, and I think that'll be a cooler look for him. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to glue that on, and then let him dry just a little bit more once it settles, and then we'll start our washes. See, he fell over too on top of it. Now next, we want to take this Newland oil, and in the comics, it's a very, very dark book, and Mike Mignola draws all his characters very, very dark. So I'm going to take this, and I'm really going to apply a heavy coat over our hero here, because I really want to see if I can pull off the comic book feel to this and really just darken this up and create some of the shadows that the artist does in the comic book. And if you take a look, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely go check out one of Hellboy's comic books, or look online. Hell, don't go buy a comic book just because we're trying to show you something. But you want to really kind of leave this a little heavy on here and try to get that illusion that is created from some of this fantastic art that they did on this guy. I mean, just take, yeah, I mean, we're going to lighten it back up a bit, but I want to see how close I can get before I come back over the top. And I know what you're saying, oh my God, that's too dark, but don't worry, we're going to pull this detail out by just really working, number one, this wash in, and then working it out. But we want to create those shadows like you see in the comic book. And that's what I'm trying to do here with a very heavy wash of Newell oil. Alright, I'm going to finish up our other guy here. I'm going to put him down, let him kind of soak that all in, and then we're going to come, you know, the same thing here with this guy. We want to create a very heavy look to him. Very shadowy look like it is in the comic books. Come over the top, move that around, try not to let it pool up. But if you look at the comic book, it's very pulled up in a lot of different ways. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to come back once it dries, and we're going to continue on, and we're going to start lightening things up, believe it or not. Alright, this is where we're going to take some Mephiston red again, and what we're going to do is we're going to clean a bit of it off our brush. And what we want to do is we very lightly kind of want to just hit some of these high points. Gee whizzes. Oh. This is where we're going to take some of our Mephiston red. We're going to take some of it off of our brush, and we're just going to lightly go over some of the high spots here. And we're not going to hit it too hard because I want to keep those shadows in there. The whole point is trying to make it like the comic book, where you have those bright reds but everything's so dark, and be able to bring out some of his back, his tail here, and just work this all the way through a bit, and just hit these high points and really just sell, you know, the way, try to give it that comic book look. Right in his face here, I want to go real easy because I don't want to take off. You know, you got all those different blacks in there, and look, just coming over the muscle tone, the high spot of it, but letting that wash really sink in there. And I got that wash in there very deep, and it really brings out like the piece here, this fist here. You could see where you're getting all that indentation, and it feels a lot like the comic. Let's show you the other guy here. I've got to touch up his little goatee, but you could see what I'm trying to create on his face, on his midsection. See how we have the darkness that just sits there, and just enough through these areas here to make a difference, but have that comic book feel that I'm really trying to go for. And always dark, forbidding, and that's what the comic book really is. So I'm going to move on to the next color. We're going to start brightening up just a little bit of this coat, and we've got a few more things to do, and then we'll be good to go here. So like I said, I wanted to keep these guys pretty dark, and you can see I'm keeping them pretty dark, and pretty much I'm really just have that vision of the comic book, and that's what really stands out to me. What I do want to do is I want to take some Xandri dust to go over the base color that we had, which was Steel Legion Drab, of course, with the enormous amount of wash that we had. And I really kind of want to just hit these high lines here. So I really want the jacket to kind of start to pop a little bit, and just by hitting the corners and some of the edges here, just very lightly, and you see how that brings out his sleeve a bit. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I want that sleeve to stand out. I want part of that coat to start to snap a little bit on the back side. I want to work it up into here, and just a little bit, but not too light. I want to lighten it, but not too light, because we want to keep with the theme of keeping him nice and dark. So there you go. We're going to come back with one more highlight, and I think we'll be pretty close to being where we want to be. And that's, you know, a nice dark figure, but very, very good. And I think eventually I'll change the base on him. I want that base to kind of stand out, just like we did with the other guy here. So I'm going to bring the other Hellboy. As you can see, the horned Hellboy. You can see where we have that junk in there, and we cut that base off and we added him onto another base. I kind of like where he is right now. We might do something with the eyes, I think. So we'll give that a shot as well. So we'll be back in a bit, and we'll be able to close this out very soon. The last and final thing I want to do here is right here on this symbol here. I just kind of want to outline it a little bit with some gray here, and just come around and bring that out a little bit, and really just take my time with it, because it really is going to help stand out a little bit. And just come in here, and there's like a little hammer here or something, or symbol, and I just want to get that symbol in there, and then come around on the back side, and then I'll clean it up right in there. So we want to add that in, and then pretty much that's about all we want to do here. And as you see, I have both these guys here, and they're ready to go on the game, and that's the most important thing, is just having them ready. You know, not the best job, but it's good enough to get on the board. And I think it stands out a little bit. I have that, I kind of like have that comic book feel that I'm really looking for, and that's what I really wanted to hit home, was how dark these two figures could be and how they fit perfectly. So let's send it on top and get on. There you have it, as simple as anything. And we got through it pretty quickly, and it was quite the good time to do it. And I liked adding it to a different base. I thought that was a lot of fun. And you guys can do that too. This is easy enough. You can do this with no problem whatsoever and have a great time doing it. So I hope you enjoyed this. We'll do some more figures as well. We'll get this all nice and tight, and then we'll show you all about the game with painted figures, of course. Until next time, it's your old pal Rom. We'll see you soon.